Okay, in this video we're going to see how we use the point ratio form of an exponential equation to come up with an exponential equation. So here is our point ratio form, and if we have 2 points that we know form an exponential equation, then we can use those 2 points to find b, this value here, and then once we have that, we can find the whole equation. So step number 1, identify our 2 points. So our 2 points, we have x comma y, that's, I'm going to call this one 7 and 4.7 from the notes, and x1, y1, 4 comma 40. Now it turns out you could swap these points around. It doesn't really matter what order you put them in, but we're just going to put them in this order here. All right, step number 1, identify the 2 points. Step number 2, substitute the 2 points into the formula. Okay, so let's see. Y is 4.7. So y equals y1. y1 is 40 times b, we don't know yet. That's what we're looking for. To the power of x minus x1. So that's going to be, let's see, 7 minus 4. All right, substitute into formula, got it. Step number 3, simplify the exponents. All right, my exponents here, 7 minus 4. So that's going to make my equation look like 7 minus 4 is 3. 4.7 equals 40 times b to the third. Divide to isolate b. So I want to divide both sides of my equation here by 40. So that's going to give me b cubed on this side, and 4.7 divided by 40 is 0.1175. All right, so now I have 0.1175 equals b cubed. Well, now I just need to solve this for b, and I do that by taking the cube root of both sides of my equation. So the cube root of b cubed is just b, and the cube root of 0.1175, if I punch that into my calculator, I get approximately 0.4898. So now I know what my common ratio is for the exponential equation that has those 2 points in it. Now let's use this to go ahead and find the rest of the equation. So if I have 1 point and a value for b, my common ratio, then I can find my explicit equation. Well, now that I know what b is, I can do that. Step number 1, I want to identify my 1 point, the point that I'm going to use, and my value for b. So we're going to use x1, y1. Again, we could have used our other point, but we're just going to use the x1, y1 point. So x1 and y1, that's 4 comma 40. And our value for b, that's what we just solved for. That's approximately 0.4898. All right, there's step number 1. Step number 2, substitute into the formula. Okay, so let's see. Now we have y equals y1 40 times b is 0.4898 to the power of x minus x1. So let's see. X minus x1 is 4. All right, so here's our formula. Y equals 40 times 0.4898 to the power of x minus 4. Step number 3, find the initial value. All right, now the initial value, remember, that's just the value of y. Let's say what y equals when x equals 0. That's the initial value. All right, so if I want to know what y is equal to when x is equal to 0, well, then I'm going to need to substitute 0 in for x. So let's see. Y equals 40 times 0.4898 to the power of 0 minus 4. Or, if I simplify that, that's 40 times 0.4898 to the power of -4. And this I can just punch into my calculator. to get this value for y, and I punch that into my calculator, and I find out that y, that is my initial value, the value of y when x is 0, my initial value is going to be approximately 695. So now I know my initial value is 695. I also know the value of my common ratio, b, is 0.4898. Now I can write my equation using this standard form of an exponential equation. Y equals a times b to the x. Remember, a stands for the initial value, and b is the common ratio. So y equals 695, that's my initial value, times b is 0.4898 to the power of x. And there's my equation.